How can a mountain be related to your goals? Nice question, right? Just to answer this, we will have Colleen Qvist in a few minutes to talk about how important it is to set goals, even though there are challenging times, even though we are so overwhelmed with everything that's happening. It's very important to set goals. So stay there because I'll be back soon to talk about this. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Special Marketing Live Show. And today we are live also on Amazon. So hello, Amazon. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Twitter. Hello, YouTube. And I don't know, wherever more hellos. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again. And today we're going to travel again till the amazing and magical continent Africa, and just going down till South Africa, and we will have Colleen Qvist. Oh my God, Colleen Qvist to talk about this so important thing about setting goals and how we can compare a goal to a mountain. Okay, so before that, just let me know where you are located, how are you, in which platform you are watching us. Don't forget also, if you know someone who may be interested in this topic, please tell them to come to join us. Okay, you can tag them, you can share the broadcast. Also, if you are watching us on Amazon, please don't forget, let me put this in the screen. I think I need to change something here. Okay, where is it? It is here. Okay, don't forget to follow. Okay, because soon I will be here again, and I'm sure you don't want to miss any show of me. Okay, and also to unmute to listen, because today this conversation will be very, very insightful. So let's bring our amazing guest to the screen, because Colleen is waiting in the basement, as usual, with a glass of water and a cookie, because my budget doesn't allow me anything else. So let's bring Colleen to the screen. Hello, Colleen. How are you?
Hello, Marco. Thank you for taking me out of the basement.
Okay, well, I think it's my pleasure. I think you have so many important things to share with my audience and with me, of course. That in the basement was not the right place for having you. So first of all, welcome to my show. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's an honor, and it's funny because the second African lady in my show was a lady introduced by the first African lady. Well, the first African at all, because you're also the second African at all. So it's time to get to have ladies in my show, because you should. Okay, you should be with a mic in the hand to talk and to get known and to share all the knowledge you have. So welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I will ask you please to introduce yourself, and then let's talk about this. Is that okay?
Perfect. Thank you. I'm loving the energy and the fun. I think this hour is going to disappear very fast. So who am I? Well, you see, Marco has very kindly written me down there so that you can see who I am. I'm Colleen Qvist. I'm a life coach and a business coach, and I work globally with people to help them to achieve their goals, no matter what those goals are. And often when we're looking to achieve goals, we stick in our comfort zone because it's comfortable and it's cozy. And even if we don't really like our comfort zone anymore, we'd rather stay there. So I help people step out of comfort zones and acquire skills that they need, step through the fear to be able to achieve their goals.
Perfect. And let's start with this analogy, because before preparing this, before the show, I had to prepare the show, not just before the preparing, because it was part of the preparation. You sent me some articles and some content you had, and I got stopped by this mountain analogy, because for me it's very interesting. Do you want to talk a little bit what the relation between a mountain and a goal?
Okay, so for me, I feel that often our goals are like mountains. They're huge, they're massive, okay? And as much as we might feel like, oh, let's go climb this mountain, yay, off we go, okay? A lot of people expect a mountain to be, or a goal to be achieved fast, or to be achieved in one step. But at the end of the day, we don't climb mountains in one step. A lot of things as well. You've got to go up, you've got to find different routes. It can be dangerous. You go down, you know. And so sometimes people look at other people's mountains, you know, other people's goals, and go, oh, it's not fair. Look what Marco's achieved. Marco's got a whole big show. This is not fair. I want a show too. Okay? Without realizing that you've got to go and climb the mountain to get there. And then what also we do is we look at other people's goals, at other people's mountains, and we think, oh, we want that too. Because look how happy Marco is. I want a show too, okay? And meanwhile, it's about not wanting other people's goals, other people's mountains. It's not about jumping up a mountain in one big swoop, okay? And it's also not about just deciding, okay, we're going to hop from one mountain to oh, I don't like this mountain, I'm going to find a new one. You can't just hop across. You've got to go down and start again. So, yes. So I think as well is that some people set out to climb mountains in life, and that's how we need to do it with goals. We need to aim for, oh, what about this one and that one? And, you know, but yeah, mountains and goals, same kind of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the problem, I think one of the problems by these days is because of this uncertainty and how crazy times are. And I think, and we can't go further in this topic, because for me it's but by these days is very problematic, which is how to pick the right mountain. Okay, how do I know this is the right mountain for me? Because there's so many mountains, even though most of the mountains are fake mountains. So, which advices do you give us to understand if this is the right goal for me? How can I understand which goals I should seek? Because okay, and the problem is, again, we have this uncertainty, but also we have so many distractions by these days. From where do you want to start? Because there's so many things.
All right, so let's start with fake mountains, Marco.
Yes.
Fake mountains. So often a fake mountain is somebody else's goal. And also the things that go with it, you know, like, oh, the fast car and the woman and the, wow, look at me and look at my outfit. And do you know how much my shoes cost? And so those, we often want mountains because somebody else has got them or somebody else is achieving them. And so that is the advice then, is to make sure that you don't sit there and go like, you want something just because somebody else has got it. Because just because somebody else has got it, and even if you get it, doesn't mean it's going to make you happy, doesn't mean it's going to give you meaning. So that's the first thing, to make sure that it's your mountain, not somebody else's. A big thing also from society point of view is we've allowed society to say, Colleen, this is what you should be having, okay? But Colleen doesn't want that, okay? But we feel like we need to go and achieve that mountain because it's expected of us. So those are the first thing. Also, like, for instance, maybe there's a career goal where you must go and become a doctor, okay? But you don't want to become a doctor. It's because dad was a doctor, mom was a doctor. And so it's almost like you feel obliged from a family point of view or from a society point of view that you need to go and make that mountain your goal.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then the next thing would be, which one? How do you know which one is yours? It's better to actually sit down and work, obviously, with a coach, because I'm with a coach. You know, I am a coach, because sometimes we've got so much stuff in our heads that there's too many things going around and round and round and round, okay? And then mommy says, oh, you should do this. And your best friend says, oh, you should do that. And sometimes there can be so much noise that you can't make sense of what's going on with the noise, okay? So when you sit down and you look at things, okay, what should your goal be? It's also about, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What gives you meaning? What is your own mountain and your own goal? And then seeing that there could be lots of them. Can you do them together? Sometimes people have that they must acquire them all, you know, like mountain ranges, like all 7 of them. Okay. And then what do you have at the end of a year, 2 years, 5 years? No, we still got all of them. Did we climb any of them? Nope. We're still sitting at the bottom. But look, we've got all of them. So the big thing here, Marco, is to know what the why is. Why do you want this mountain? Why do you want to climb up here? Because it's going to get tough. You're going to cry. You're going to sit there. You're going to be sore. You're going to be, oh, why would I do this? Okay. And if the why isn't big enough, you're going to give up on this mountain. You're going to go, oh, it's too hard. You sit down and then you can just roll all the way, assuming you've gone up at all. Just sit down, fall off the ledge and roll off to the bottom and see, I told you I couldn't climb the mountain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a big enough why, knowing that it's your mountain and you're not just collecting mountains for the sake of it, not just collecting goals because they look good. You must climb them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is very important. And the other thing, and I talk about this all the time, because for me it's key. It's because I've seen, since I started this live stream game, it was 2015, and by those days, even today, it's kind of a little awkward to people, mostly people close to me who doesn't understand this live stream thing, who doesn't understand why I do this and what's the result and everything. But by those days, it was very hard to because the first time I made this, it was for me like, whoa, that's my thing. I found my element, like Ken Robinson liked to say. And okay, I might give up, because the problem with these days we are living in is that we think that we just plant a seed and the very next day we will have a good and a big tree with apples, big apples, juicy apples. And if at the very next day there's not a big tree, okay, this is not for me. This was a fake tree. Which advices do you have for people? Because I think that there's a lack of patience by these days, don't you think?
So you see, we've changed stories now. Now we're planting seeds and we're going to have apples. Okay.
Well, they could be at the mountain.
Yeah, no. But, okay. So what happens is that, let's stay with planting seeds. Okay. So some people don't plant seeds, and then they're very impatient to go, but where are the apples? Come on now, where are the apples? Okay. Other people plant seeds, but then they forget to water them. They forget to look after them, and then they expect to find the apples. And even more people, they plant oranges, and then they get very cross when there's no apples. So you've got to make sure that whatever it is that you're starting off with, you've got to plant, you've got to nurture. Because if you don't plant and you don't nurture, you don't harvest. And then you've also got to be very careful about what you do plant and you do nurture is what you're wanting to harvest. Okay. Because it's pointless planting oranges and you get apples.
Absolutely.
Or expecting apples. You know, like, where are my apples? Well, did you plant any? No. Yeah. So just to your point then of saying that people are very impatient, it's because we want instant results. We want instant success. We want instant, come on now, okay? And it's almost like that goldfish story of like we can't concentrate or focus for a very long time. But what's also happening is that we're not necessarily teaching people to have tenacity, to have bounceability, to have flexibility. Of when you started your show, Marco, I'm sure that it didn't all go right from the beginning.
Even now, sometimes things go wrong.
No, you press the wrong button. You forget to record. You do all sorts of things, you know. Maybe you forget to invite the guest. Okay.
Well.
But it's as you keep on doing it from the experience, you learn, okay, invite the guest, switch on the thing, click something or other so that Colleen can change in the screen and become bigger. All sorts of things, but you don't just like go into that. And so often people want to be experts. They want to be on top of the mountain, but they haven't climbed a centimeter yet. They haven't gone up at all. They haven't learned it. So you cannot be, how many shows have you had, Marco?
I think over 500.
500 shows. Okay. So think back to your first show.
I can. I can do that.
Okay. So do you see that Marco has gone from first show to 10 shows to 20 shows to 100 shows to 500 shows? You're not the same Marco who did the first one.
Absolutely.
But you can't get to 500 if you don't do number one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But people are scared that when they set off doing one, then they, like Colleen's never done a live show. She's never been a host. Okay. So I come along on Monday and I go, oh, Colleen's going to start my own live show. Okay. But I don't compare it to Colleen doing one. I compare it to Marco who's done 500. And I go, oh, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not whatever. But if I start, I can get good. I can get better. I can improve. But we want this instant that we mustn't do the work. And when things get difficult, then we go like, oh, no, sorry, I can't do this. And we give up, as opposed to solving the problem, finding a way, learning how to do it. Because each time you do it, you grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for instance, usually, well, I made it more before COVID, but when I started my workshops, my speaking about live streaming and video, because I'm not afraid or ashamed by doing this. I think I kind of look and see, okay, I made it because I like to show people, look, this was the first video I made, the first recording, because I don't have the recordings of the first time I went live, because I was a guest. It was someone who was making a live show, a good friend of mine, by the way, Pedro Caramies, and he asked me, look, I'm here. Do you want to join? It was on Facebook and he was on Blab. I went there. I was chatting like every other people. And then he saw me and he invited me to join in screen. And I said, oh my God, whoa. But then I don't have that recording. I have the first video I made. I recorded with the cell phone and I uploaded to Facebook. And also I have I like to show them all. The first time I made a live on Facebook, because I had to, before then Blab went down, I had to wait so Facebook allow mortal people to go live as well on Facebook. And then I have my first interview with this show we are now. It was in 2018. January 22nd. How can I forget this date? And yes, I look back and I see how I evolved. And I like to show this and I say to the people, look, if by today, when you make your first recorded video or your first live show, if you do as better as I did at that times, I will be frustrated, because I'm willing to give you the tools to make it better than I did. But yes, I do this by in a deliberated way for people to understand I evolve, and this will happen to you as well.
So what's nice then as well is that as we evolve, as we learn things, and also as we share. So if you had to share, okay, this is how I've done it, this is what, then other people can learn from you. And then they don't have to start at the bottom of the mountain.
Absolutely.
Okay, and make the same mistakes. So it's basically standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
In that,
Newton.
instead of saying, okay, well, it took me 10 years to get here, run along, go start, okay. The person can start at the year 6 version from experience because they have watched you, they've been nurtured, they've been mentored by you. Okay. But as soon as people have, no, you cannot do this, okay, and people are threatened that you could be as good as me in whatever we're doing, okay, this is my mountain and only I can climb this mountain, okay. But the more we empower other people, the more we enable them, the more we lift them up, the more we're saying, yay, come on, because that is an abundance approach in terms of goals. Yes. That if I am an amazing coach, I'm not the only amazing coach. There are hundreds out there, thousands in the world of amazing coaches, okay? But the people who need me will find me. But I can't say, oh, can't help any of you, the rest of your coaches, because no, there's only space for one. So only one live person, only one coach, only one accountant, one lawyer, one whatever. And that's often where people have this approach of lack, that there's not enough, that there's no space for all of us. And so we don't assist, we don't empower, we don't mentor. Because, oh, you might be better than me. But it's a case of, yay, if you're better than me, I taught you properly, didn't I? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Just a different approach.
And I think also it's kind of a sports coach, because I think they started the coach thing. It's, for instance, if you are a football coach, athleticism coach, your deal is not to become the athlete, it's to help them to reach their goals. Yes. So there's no point, because if you succeed with the people you are coaching, more people will approach to you because they want also succeed.
And that's what a leader does too. A leader makes more leaders. A leader empowers the people around them to be the best that they can be. And so that's often where business people are battling now from that point of leadership. Of before, it used to be the hierarchy, where the person at the top knew everything, was everything, kind of thing. And now it's saying, no, the person at the top, can you imagine the pressure of having to know everything, solve all the problems, be in charge 24/7, be superhuman, okay? And now we've gone from the triangle to now into the circle of, in a specific situation, different people can lead because you've got different projects, different ways of looking at things, okay? But it takes a whole lot of vulnerability to say, you know what, in this situation, I'm not the best person for it. Marco's the best person for this one. Marco, step in. What do we need to do? Okay. Then the next situation, you go, oh, Marco, no, Mary's the best person for this one. Mary, step in. Okay. So it's about knowing that we've all got our space. We bring our strengths, we bring our abilities. Okay. And also what happens often, because I'm older, okay, so I can say it, old people often say, oh, that young person can't bring in anything. They know nothing. But ultimately, remember, young people have watched, they've learned, learned new things, digital, all sorts of things. And so they have got different skill set. And when we say, no, you can't talk because you're only 20, hey, we miss out on lots.
Absolutely.
So it's allowing people to be vulnerable, to be saying, we can know things together, because what can we know together? Okay. So that's the same with goals, is that when you've got a goal for a company, when you've got a goal for a business, it's people need to know, where's the company going? What do they want to achieve? And what's my part in getting that goal?
Important. Yes, it's important. And this I think this voices coming from the outside. This reminded me about a story, and I want to share it with you because this can bridge us to another important thing when we are talking about setting goals and about success. There was a very, very hard, okay, I think a trail just for frogs, okay, very hard, very long, terrible. And then the frogs start running or jumping, whatever. And the people who were watching the run, they say, oh my God, poor frogs. It's so hard for them. Oh my God, they can't make it. They can't make it at all. And one after another, some died, some gave up, some they just get, tired, and everyone, one after another, just giving up. But there was one who crossed the line, and she won the course. And then everybody was so amazed. What happened here? So the journalists, they come to the frog, and they started to making questions, and the frog was looking like, I don't know what's happening. What's this? And then the coach arrived and said, she won't answer any one of you because she's deaf. So the point here was she finished the run because she was not listening to what people were saying. My point here, Colleen, is how can we choose the right people we should listen?
So the big thing, that's exactly what you said, Marco, and thanks for your story about the frog who didn't hear the people saying, you can't do this, frog. You can't run a race. Frogs don't run. Okay. So the big thing here is about exactly as you said when you started off with your shows, where people go, oh, don't know what he's doing. Very strange. That's not a real job, hey? You're going to go nowhere with this. You can get so sucked into that, so caught up into it. All right. So it's very important to make sure that the people you are surrounding yourself with that are in your circle, you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And when you say, okay, who do you hang out with? You think, oh, friend this one, friend that one, friend. No, but it's often the people you work with. Okay. All right. Now that the whole world's sat in lockdown, often the people we spent the most time with is our family. Or whoever you've been in lockdown with. But it's a case of do stock take. Go and do an evaluation of who do you spend time with? Who feeds into you? Who's giving you information? From emotional, all that kind of thing. What kind of TV do you watch? What kind of books do you read? Okay. What are you feeding yourself with? Because don't be surprised when you're feeding yourself with rubbish that, oh dear, what do we get? What do we harvest? We harvest rubbish. Okay. So the big thing is to make sure that you surround yourself with people who believe in you. It can't be like, oh, Marco, why do you try this? You should just sit at home and do nothing. Okay. So the positive people who believe in you, okay, who's saying, I know it's hard, my boy. Come on now. Let's go do it. You can do it. I'm here with you. I've got your back. Okay. Then you need people who've got their own goals, who not just like, oh, well, it's Friday. We'll just sit here. We won't do anything. We'll just wait till Monday. Okay. You want people who've got your own goals, who've got their own mountains, who are not going to just sit there and be happy with friends who've got no mountains to climb. And then you also need the practical friends, because sometimes life is difficult. Sometimes it does get bad. Okay. So it's about, you want somebody who understands, who doesn't fix, but who sits with you on the valley floor. You know, where you fell off the mountain and you're sitting on the floor? You need somebody who says, here's some chocolate. Let me get you some ice cream and let me pour you a wine. I think you need some wine. Okay. But at the end of it, they must say, you know what? Okay, we're done eating chocolate, ice cream, and wine now. It's time to get up. It's time to go back to our goal. Time to find our mountain again. And then the last group of people that you need are professional people. Professional people who aren't going to be your friend who says, yeah, it's very hard. Okay, never mind. Shame. Okay? You don't want the friend who supports you because they're the friend. You want the professional coach, the professional dietitian, the professional lawyer, whoever, okay, who is paid to make sure you achieve your goal.
Absolutely. This is important because usually people also said to me, oh, I don't know where to find feedback, for instance, when they are starting this live streaming thing. And some people say, okay, ask your friend, ask your relative, ask. And I say, no, you should not ask to them, because they don't understand most of the time, they don't understand what you're doing, why you are doing, which pains you have, what do you want to achieve. They don't know this. But those people who already made this way you're doing now, this path you're doing now, they know what you want to achieve. They know which pains you are suffering. And also look for people who may be your kind of target audience, because they will understand if what you're saying, what you're doing resonates with them. And that's it. Because there's this again, and you already mentioned the problem of the comfort zone, that usually we felt in the temptation, okay, there's this, my relative, he's here or she's here all the time close to me. She will say, oh my God, you're so good, you're so amazing, or you're stop doing this. So I think it's a big problem by these days too. And also they're becoming worse, in my opinion, mostly due to social media, which is comparing, because in the worst way.
It's not necessarily, fortunately, nothing grows in a comfort zone. But when you go through the fear, you get into learning. And when you go, and so you can't go, oh, well, I'm done now. Okay. Oh, look what I've done. Okay. It's also about now you've got to go into the next mountain, the next crop that you've got to plant in our other example. And the big thing is with comparison is to know that your mountain is good enough, how you've climbed it. So when we set goals and we come up with, okay, here's my mountain, all right, the goal must be divided into little pieces, chunk size pieces. And then to hold yourself accountable, or to have a coach hold you accountable, to say, right, what's the first step? So often we're going to go, right, we're going to go to the moon. Hey, amazing, we're going to go to the moon. All right, what do we need to do? What are the 25 steps to get us to the moon? And so often people have not a goal, they have a dream of, oh, one day when I'm big, I want to do whatever, okay? But they, okay, fine, absolutely, we're going to do it. What's step 1? What's step 2? What's step 3? What's step 4? What's the timeline to be able to do those steps? And who's going to hold you accountable to say, hey, step 2, did you do it? Hey, yeah. So that is where it makes it so much easier. But when we have comparison, and that is social media does compare, but at the end of the day, we put pictures on social media. We put our lives on social media. That's the highlight reel. It's the, wow, look at me, okay? As opposed to, oh, today was a messy day. I didn't get out of bed. I feel sad today. I feel whatever. So people are only showing their highlight reels, and then we wonder why, oh, I can't compete against that. And it's also the whole thing with likes as well, where did you like it? Did you follow it? Did you see it? Did you whatever? And people get hung up on how many likes there are. And even like with Instagram, apparently if you don't get enough likes on your picture, you must delete it. So it goes back to, why are you putting the picture on Instagram? Why are you putting the article on here? Because even if you reach one person, you've reached one person.
Absolutely.
So it's not the standard of, oh, that's not good enough. That's not enough. There's not enough likes. That's not thin enough. That's not clever enough. That's not something enough. As opposed to saying, no, you are enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the other thing, and you already talked about this, but I want to get back to this because for me it's really important, because sometimes we don't know why we want to achieve the goals we want to achieve. Okay, because for instance, I'm going to talk about this conversation I had with a friend of mine, kind of a year ago, and she's a psychologist, and well, I'm because even though she's a psychologist, I think she doesn't work full time with that, and I was trying to help her, because well, somehow I think I can do so. And at some point of the conversation, she told me, "Well, Marco, but why should I want to charge more money for my consultations? Because I don't want to become rich." And I said to her, "But you don't have to want to be rich to charge more money." And then I said to her, "Look, for instance, if instead of charging, to give an example, instead of charging $20 for a consultation, you charge 40. It means that at the end of the day, to get the same amount of money, you need to work half of the time. You have more time to spend with your family, to spend with social causes and everything." And she said, "Well, it makes sense. And it's not all. For instance, if you want to work 8 hours a day, it means that you will have the double of the money at the end of the day, so you can give that money to another cause." So I think to throw the ball back to you, I think sometimes people don't see the big picture in things, and they think, okay, I want to be rich because I want to get lots of money, because I want to have a big car, or I want to have jewelry, I want to go to the beach and everything. For instance, I don't want to have more followers to be at the beach, because, for instance, I live 15 minutes from the beach. I think last year I didn't went to the beach anytime, not even once. So that's not my point. But yes, I want to impact people. I want to understand that somehow that people's life became a little bit better because I give them an advice, a consultation, or everything. So I think we should have this in mind. And I think most of the times people see goals in a kind of, again, fashion way, like luxury way. Do you have this feeling?
Okay, so it's important what you've uncovered here is in coaching, this is what we call reframing. So instead of just looking at it this way, see, look, here's the frame. Okay, work hard, make more money, buy 6 cars. Okay, work hard, buy more money, go on 6 holidays. Work hard, get more money. Live in a fancy house. Okay.
Yeah, go to Paris. All
right. But then for somebody, it can be, no, I don't want to get the money. But what you did for hers is you took the frame around the situation and you moved it. You looked at it in a different way. Okay. And then also attached to that is saying, yes, if you had to get more money for less work, what else could you do with your time? Also, money allows you choice. What could you do with the choice? Okay. And then in that, it's also attached to her values. So she didn't value, oh, be rich, be rich, be rich. Okay. She valued more time with her family, more time with whatever. Okay. It's also about saying that as a professional, you work with people, not because I'm spending an hour with you, but what value do I bring in that hour? Because that's what you're charging for. It's a bit like a catalyst, it's almost, So it's a bit like saying, if you had a situation where you didn't work with a professional, all right, how long would it take you to get there? How much blood, sweat, and tears would it take? Okay. And then when you work with a professional, you're paying them for the difference that they can bring in their lives. So big thing, change the frame. You're not a tree. You can move. Off you go somewhere else. Look at your picture through a different window. Do a handstand. See it from a different angle. Don't have the little voice in your head that goes, no. It has to be that way. Okay. Step out from the crowd. Don't just be blah and average, because we're so busy trying to fit in with, oh, look at me in my fast car. Meanwhile, if we all drive fast cars, well, then that's boring. Okay. So go find a slow car. Go find a no car. Go find a horse.
A bike.
But it has to be against your values, because your values are your values and can't be anyone else's values. So too often we try and achieve goals based on other people's values. And then, exactly as you said, it doesn't feel like you're in flow. It feels like every day, oh, got to go run my show. Got to go speak to strange people from different parts of the world. Oh, gee. Okay. As opposed to, yay, I go speak to, oh, look what happens, and look at the difference, and look at the impact we have on audiences, and oh, how exciting. Because you're not then working then. Then it's flow. Because it's in line with your values. It's in line with your strengths. It's in line with what you love doing. And yes, still had to go learn which button to press. And oh yeah, even on the 50th time you press the wrong button, the world's not going to end. We learn from it. And that's what's been great as well, with us all sitting in lockdown on Zoom and on Teams and on whatever. It's the experiential learning that when you go, oh, hang on, how do I get you guys back now? Where do I press? It's the experiential learning that you give power to everyone to learn together.
Absolutely.
And at the end of it, people say, oh, wow, how did you get to be such an expert? Well, we did hours of this. Yes.
Yeah. And I think there's also this problem, and you nailed, because I think we live in a day that we are so afraid of making mistakes, and I need to talk about this. One day I was talking with more people who does live stream, and some of them even more hours than I do. And at some point of the conversation, we started to talk about the mistakes we made, and they were using the word disaster. And then I came up, and I say, okay, I think it's not the proper word to say here, disaster, because it's just a mistake. Nobody died because of that. And I think we should, it's important also to choose the right words, because I think the word reinforces the meaning, if I make myself clear. Because if we say, okay, funny situations, maybe, okay, we will face in a better way the situation, without, okay, I did this, I will give up. Because we all know that to excel in every field of knowledge, in every kind of profession, you have to make mistakes. You have to understand that it's not a straight line. Okay, so how do we is there any way for us to kind of lighten the not so good situations, instead of, oh my God, hold that weight in the situation? Okay, I will give up because I'm not good at this.
Okay. So when you're saying to lighten the way, so a big thing is a lot of people attach their happiness to the top of the mountain. They're also saying, I'll be happy when, okay, as opposed to no, right now, right in this moment, I'm happy. Okay.
I want to
yes,
Friday. I want Friday. I want vacations.
Achieving this goal, doing whatever. Okay. But so many people have that they have destination. It's only at the destination that you will be happy. And when we do convoluted up and down, in and out the mountain, this path didn't work, this part, okay, it's very easy then to sink into despair of woe is me. And exactly as you said, words have got power. Words have got huge power. So when you say, oh, I didn't climb this mountain, I am a failure, I'm not good enough, I am a disappointment to everybody who knows me, okay, we become our own self-fulfilling prophecy then, because that's what we're gathering, as opposed to taking your frame and taking it somewhere else. So saying, oh, well, that didn't work, let's try a new path. Oh, gee whiz, maybe I can't climb a mountain with ballet shoes. Go figure. I need proper climbing shoes, okay? So it's about trying, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Okay. And that's where now we've got to be nimble, more nimble than ever before, agile, be able to change. That next thing, not like, oh dear, now let's analyze it for 700 years. Yes, analyze it, but analyze it fast. Okay, move on. Jim, don't be in your business and in your life. Don't be the huge, big naval ship that's got to turn around. The warship must turn around. Oh dear, it could take us. Yeah, it must be zoom and off we go. Okay, absolutely. So be the little tugboat. Sure, we've used so many stories here. Mountains, tugboats, seeds, frogs. But be that little tugboat that goes whim and off it goes, different direction. And that's the huge advantage that entrepreneurs have now, because they don't have to have a board meeting with 53 signatures and how sign off and all the strategy says. Okay. So that's also a big point in terms of your goals. Are your goals still relevant? Can you still achieve them? Or is it time to look at a new horizon, because life's changed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you made a good point. And I was about to ask you also that, because sometimes people are kind of stubborn and no, I made this goal, and even though, and let me bring another another joke to the table. There's this joke. Two drunk people were in the street looking at the floor. Okay, it was night. They were looking, and there's a policeman approaching them, and he asked. He was there looking, and then he asked, "What are you doing?" And one of them said to the policeman, "Well, we are searching our key, the car key." Well, the house key. No, not the car, because they were not able to drive. Okay, so we are trying to find our car house key. Yes, and did you lost the house key around here? No, we lost them there. And so why are you searching here? Because there's no light there. I think this brings us to this situation you've talked, because some people stay too much attached to that goal. They set it 200 years ago, and even though there's no light there, or they will keep. Okay, no, because I won't change, because I made this all the time like this, or everything. Your thoughts on this, Colleen?
So there's two sides to this. Firstly, not to give up on your goals too soon. Yes, so the moment you hit that first pathway and there's a rock in it, you go, oh, see, I told you I shouldn't have climbed this mountain. Oh, this mountain's not for me. And off you go. Okay. So it is about making sure that the pathway in front of you is clear. What can you do? How can you do? Listen to me. How can you make it clear? What can you do? Is there another pathway? Is there whatever? But so often we're so in our goal that we don't look up and go, oh, is this mountain still relevant? Is this the mountain I still want to climb? Okay, so there you have the dogged persistence of, yes, I must achieve this, and it's no longer relevant to your life, to the world, to whoever. Okay, so that's where we have horizon scanning of, look out there, what do we need there? Okay, what do I need to do today in order to achieve there? Okay, but the problem with that, though, is that you get the people who give up too soon and have no tenacity, no stickability, no flexibility, no whatever, and they go, this is me, and then they sit at the bottom. You get the people who don't even start because they're too scared to climb the mountains, but they collect mountains, they just don't climb them. They don't achieve the goals. And then you've got people who've got a collection of mountains from the olden days that are no longer valid, no longer whatever, but no, I'm going to achieve this one. So it's the whole thing of knowing what you're wanting, to step out, because you cannot climb a mountain unless you start. Knowing what the steps are to be able to get there, holding yourself accountable, working through the whole, the fear, because there's going to be fear. There's going to be stuff that doesn't work, okay? And yes, you're going to fall off the mountain and break your neck, okay? But we can fix necks. We can come back again. Yes. But make sure every now and again, like sometimes people do it once a year, once every 6 months, especially now because things change so quickly. Ask yourself, is this still my mountain? Am I still on the right track? Is there something else that we need to add to it, subtract from it? But then also what happens, people go halfway up a mountain and go, I've gone too far now. Okay, especially like in studying. People study the wrong degrees and they get halfway through and they go, I hate this. But they don't change direction then. They finish, and then you have unhappy little people who've now got a degree they don't like. And then they get a job they don't like. Yeah. So the big thing in terms of making it easier is to have the self-evaluation, the self-awareness of what are you, who are you in the situation, not with any judgment, not, oh, Colleen, you're not doing this properly, I'm ashamed of you. Colleen, how could we do this better? What can we do? What can we work towards? Which professionals can we bring into our life to make this easier? Okay?
Absolutely. Very important. And we have
Let's
Louis.
say hello to Harper and Louis.
Hello, Harper. Welcome, Louis. And for those of you who are watching quietly, please, and if you have any question, just drop it in the comment section so Colleen can answer you, and also we can talk about that thing. Well, we came to this and I made some changes in this section because it's the guest suggestions. Let's go to the guest suggestions and we will talk a little bit about what you brought to us. Let me see where it is. I think it's here. Okay, before the show started, because now as we go live on Amazon as well, I've asked Colleen to send me some recommendations about books, movies, and music. It's not a kind of a moment of critics about music. No, I think it's just to kind of put your recommendations in the context of the conversation, because I think for me there are some movies, some books, some music which are related to my work, and somehow they helped me to become better, to understand things in a differently way. So that's why I asked you to do you want to start with what?
Let's start in movies.
Okay, because yes, I was willing to talk about The King's Speech because it was an amazing movie. Let's simplify this. Your takeaways in this movie.
Okay, so for me, the takeaway is based on a true story. And it's just showing you how an ordinary person with something that could have stopped them, the obstacle, persisted and saw the why was big enough, and they worked through it, and they worked with people, and they overcame. But so it's not about, it's, and like you watch the movie and it's like a feel, like a feel nice kind of movie kind of thing. But somebody actually lived that. And we celebrate how people learn how to overcome. And so in order for you to overcome, look and see, like exactly with the other one, with Nick, who doesn't have any arms and legs. He can't go, oh, woe is me. All right. He's overcome. He has an amazing life. He's learned how to live fully. He's learned how to love fully. Yeah. So in that, it's also about where, when you read as well, his biography of a determined man. So you can take inspiration from how other people have overcome theirs. Not necessarily that you're going to go and do the same thing yourself, but just to know that there is inspiration, there is energy. Come on, you can do this, and belief that if they can do it, so can you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we can talk about this song, "The Eye of Tiger." I think it's impossible to listen to this music and not getting this energy, this strength, right?
But that's for me when you said, okay, what music? And I was thinking, music? Oh, no, come now. And there it was saying, but like, okay, even like your Chariots of Fire. I mean, hello. I suppose you've got to be old enough to know that. But who can't see the running along the beach with Chariots of Fire of like, come on now, you can do this, you're going to win, you can make it. And that's the same like with the Eye of the Tiger. I guarantee you everyone's sitting here hearing it in their heads and I'm sure it's probably gym music when you've got to get through your workout. But even like, Elton's John of I'm Still Standing, I mean, when I was thinking like, oh, okay, I can hear that in my head, I'm still standing. Because that's where we've got to say, yeah, you're going to fall down, but get up. I'm still standing. I can do this.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because about 1 year or so, I was talking to young people who were in a class. It was kind of an open class, an open day, and I was talking to them about live streaming. And one of the things they asked me was, do you have any kind of ritual before going live? And I said, well, I kind of have. I would love to. By those days, then I stopped because I go live too often. I don't have time. And I was listening the music from Queen, Don't Stop Me Now.
Yes.
And also,
we are the champions. Yes.
Yeah, that one. But the other one, yes. But it's good. Yeah, it's a good fit, of course. But also that it was maybe late 80s, early 90s. A song from a boy called Chesney Hawks, "I Am the One and Only," or "The One and Only," and I put in that music very loud, and that was my thing, because yes, I think we can kind of set our mood because we want to set that mood, even though sometimes it's very hard to make it. Yes, sometimes it's kind of impossible, but sometimes in the average day, I think we can set our mood by setting our mood.
And so remember in the beginning, I said, be careful what you're consuming, because what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you are taking in, whether it's food or it's a movie or it's music, it's going into your cellular level. It's becoming you. And so, yes, when the boyfriend does break up with us and life has ended and whoa, we do listen to the let's all sit around and cry music. Okay. But we can't stay there. It's about saying, okay, right, come out of this, cope. Yes, I'm still standing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go to the books, because a book is always a good friend.
Yes.
Which one do you want to start?
Okay, so let's look at Mao's Last Dancer.
Your takeaways on this.
That's very yeah, it's a really good book, because it's also talking about how a boy is taken out. I mean, without giving the plot away to everybody, but like how he's chosen to go and study dance, and from there he defects to the West, and just that story of overcoming. And also, I think also being a young child taken away to be chosen to go do something. I obviously see that as a mother also from an emotional point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other one is 9 things successful people do differently.
Yes. So what you find, I mean, I like that list, but it's by Heidi Grant Halverson. Basically, it's saying that, everybody's going to have their own list of 9 things. And it's not so much that you have a list. It's more a case of, did you do them? So what's good here is don't just get stuck in plan, have a list, have a selection of mountains. It's a bit like networking. Don't have a telephone directory of people if you don't connect with them, if you don't talk with them, if you don't check in. So it's very much about, yes, the list, but have a list of the things you did.
Absolutely. And the last one is Bethany Hamilton, Unstoppable.
Oh, yes. Okay. So that is the lady who's the surfer, and her arm was taken off by a shark. And just how she could have then sat down then, right there and then, and said, oh, well, that's it. My life's finished. I can't do anything. I can't go back to what I love. And she proved everyone wrong of saying she could enter national competitions with one arm and a surfboard.
Amazing. It's curious, because here in Viana do Castelo, Portugal, there's a young lady. Yes, there's a young lady who is a blind surfer.
Wow.
So it's amazing how
the mind boggles, because I'm thinking, oh, surfing. I mean, not that I'm a surfer, but surfing itself is so difficult, and to now not be able to see it. How does she see the waves coming? How does she know?
Well, I'm gonna share my experience. It was kind of 25 years ago or something. A cousin of mine had a bodyboard board, which is, for me, from the shore is easier to do. And then he asked me, Marco, do you want to try? And I said, okay, let's do it. I couldn't stand in the board, laying. So I rest my case here. That's it. Yes.
I'm just seeing your T-shirt. I see your T-shirt matches your cushion in the background.
Yeah, it's a casualty, because I
don't. You are branded. Yes.
That's it. Well, Colleen, we reach almost the end. I will ask you, please, if you can give us 3 advices about how to pick the right mountain.
Okay. So 3 little points to picking the right mountain is to spend time on your own, with your own thoughts, to make sure that it's really your mountain. Okay, no one else's mountain. Not your parents' mountain, not society's mountain, not anybody else's mountain. It must be yours. Okay, because the reason why, the why must be big enough. When you're doing it for somebody else, the why isn't big enough. The second thing is to not just look at it as a mountain and just collect mountains. You need to climb the mountain. Sometimes in order to climb the mountain, most often, you have to grow to be able to do it. In order to grow, you've got to step out of that the fear zone to be able to learn, to be able to grow. Okay? So it's take your mountain and divide it into smaller steps, into chunk-sized pieces. And then the third piece of advice is to make sure that you sit down and decide with a coach or on your own, did I achieve the steps? Did I say I was going to do this on Tuesday? Did I do it? Why am I not doing it? Okay? And to hold yourself accountable, but most importantly, to make sure that you celebrate achieving those steps and you don't just wait till the top of the mountain to go, yay, I'm happy now.
Absolutely.
Make sure you celebrate along the way. Even plan what your celebration is going to be. And, you know, in this whole big long journey, make sure that you have, yes, milestones, that those milestones are celebrated and that you look back and go, look how far I've come.
Absolutely.
A big thing also, when we delete, if you had to go back and delete all your previous live shows, you wouldn't see how far you've come. And then people can't look at your live shows and stand on your shoulders as a giant and go, wow, okay, I can start at this point because I've gathered all this information. Absolutely. So don't be ashamed of what was and the mountains you have climbed and how you have learned, because it tells your story. It's your narrative of how you got where you are.
Absolutely. It's the legacy. And there's one thing, and I'm saying this all the time, not just mine shows, but also shows from successful people in the live streaming on YouTube or whatever, because most of those persons who succeed have their first videos there. So you and for me, this is it's not by accident, because, for instance, for me, it's very good to make this get back and understand how I evolved, and for me, it's very grateful to see this.
So another thing to be able to achieve a goal is to look to see who has achieved that goal, but not to put that person on a pedestal, not to think, oh, they're up here, I can't, whatever. I suppose coming from healthcare, I realize we all sit on the toilet. Okay. So it's not that it's not like some people, oh, on a pedestal, I can't talk to them, or, oh, somebody's down there, you can't talk to them either. We're all human. We all breathe. And especially now with COVID, breathing is very important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So reach out, talk to people, love them, hold them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Colleen,
we've reached the end. It's been fun talking to you, Marco.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I just ask you to tell people where they can find you in the digital world.
Oh, okay. So it helps that I've got such a strange name. Okay. So when you see my name, Colleen has got 2 L's and 2 E's. And Qvist is Danish, although I am South African. It's Qvist. So when you look up Colleen Qvist and you spell it properly, there's only one of me.
Okay.
So I am on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'm even on Instagram.
Perfect.
I'm still working out Instagram, but I'm there anyway. Yes.
It's a newer mountain.
A different mountain. And also you can't go into, I don't know how that works. You got to jump in there and work out how it works.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Colleen. It was a pleasure. I look forward, maybe in the future, we can meet again and talk about any other mountains, or
other mountains.
Who knows?
And then who knows? You won't be on your 500th show anymore.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for those of you who tuned in today. tomorrow we will be back. I will be back
Me.
to talk
Just
a
you.
little bit. Yes. So bye bye. We
Bye.
see back soon. Bye bye. Okay.